It's pretty common to put grass seed down in the fall, and a lot of people do it in the spring as well. When we're seeding bare dirt, it's very common for weeds to start poking up, and even when we're overseeding a lawn, weeds can crop up at any time of the year. Dealing with the weeds while seeds are germinating and seedlings are starting to grow can be a little bit tricky. I'm going to show you how I am dealing with weeds in two completely different plots with two completely different grass types. One is a cold season grass type, and the other is a warm season grass type. There's actually multiple ways to get rid of weeds out of brand new baby grass. Depending on what you have and how established that grass is makes a big difference. Your two most important tools in the shed when it comes to dealing with weeds in baby grass is FeHEDTA or iron HEDTA. This is a chelated iron product that kills dicot weeds but not monocot grasses. And you've got Mesotrione, which is found in this bottle of Tenacity. The first thing I need to say right off the bat is if you're spraying bentgrass, neither one of these products is going to work. It will kill the bentgrass. For Mesotrione, that does not play well with Bermuda, with Zoysia, and if you're applying to Fine Fescue, you better use a very small dose. Otherwise, it's going to really bleach and stunt your Fine Fescue. Some of it might die off. However, not all of it. Believe it or not, everything that you see right here is Fine Fescue. I will not be applying Mesotrione to this area because I don't want it to bleach. Also because there's almost no weeds cropping up in this spot. If you look closely, we've got a few, which you can just pull out of the ground. I'll do that to this entire space by hand. Over here, I have Fine Fescue and turf type tall fescue, and there's almost no weeds over there. I'm going to do the same thing, hand plucking. Nothing is going to go down here. Although the grass that you see here looks completely different from what I just showed you at the front of my house, everything here is baby grass. This is buffalo grass. Buffalo grass looks completely different when it's in its baby seedling stage. It doesn't come in dense the way other cool season grass varieties do. This is a stoloniferous warm season grass. It comes in looking a little bit like a bunch, and then it starts spreading out laterally with stolons. This grass type is fully capable of taking Mesotrione and FeHEDTA iron. And as you see, I do have some weeds. So I'm going to be applying both products to this at the exact same time. Well, not exactly at the exact same time, on the same day, but separated by about 5 hours. Here in my earlier buffalo grass patch, which is a little bit more than 2 months old, you're not going to see any of these weeds because I applied Mesotrione earlier in the summer. They're all gone. However, you are going to see many of these weeds because the Mesotrione does not kill these weeds pretty much at all. In short, this area was treated with Mesotrione in the middle of the summer, but over there was not. And as you can tell, my application today of Mesotrione will attack those weeds, but it's not going to do anything for these other ones that had never killed on the first attempt. We got to hit those with liquid chelated weed killing iron, FeHEDTA or iron HEDTA. What's pretty cool about many warm season grasses and most of the cool season grasses is you can literally apply both Tenacity and iron HEDTA on the same day and put two mechanisms to kill the weeds into motion at the same time. It's kind of like going back and forth between acetaminophen and ibuprofen when you've got a really bad cold. You can't really double up on either one, but if you go back and forth between the two, it really works a lot better, for me at least. By putting two completely different weed killing mechanisms into place, we can be more sure in getting as many of the weeds killed off as possible without touching the grass itself. Now, for many established grass types, you're going to use something like this. It's a mixture of 2,4-D, MCPA, and dicamba. This Triad Select is a concentrated weed killing product that works really great on cool season lawns that you see right here. But this particular lawn is made of perennial rye and Kentucky bluegrass. If I had freshly seeded it and then I applied this, it would die. The same thing with the buffalo grass up the hill and the fine fescue at the front of the house. Now, when we start talking about the liquid iron, you could get a ready to spray bottle like this. These are the easiest ones to get. However, I do recommend getting the concentrated version, because the concentrated version you can stick into either a big fancy tank sprayer or just a little spray bottle like this, and you can add a surfactant. This is the grip stick product from Ike's company that I've been using. I like this little like pour spout. It's got a little proprietary mix of ingredients in there, but I do find that it works pretty well in getting this product and other products to fully coat leaf tissues. Not exactly grass in this case, but you know, like the weed leaf tissues. This is not necessary. However, it does help the iron kill off all of the unwanted weeds a little bit more efficiently. When you use this kind of product in this little spray bottle, it doesn't come with a surfactant in it, and you can't change the potency level. So certain grass types, like for instance, the fine fescue out front, I would want to use a very diluted version of this so as to not bleach the front. But you can't do that with this bottle, but you can with the concentrate. It's all about how much water you mix into it. With iron FeHEDTA products, you're not going to want to apply this to foliage when your outside air temperatures are getting above 85 degrees. I've experimented with going above 85 degrees when I put the area that I'm spraying under shade. I've got a whole video coming out about that, which I'll link to in the description below. But the safest and the easiest thing is just to wait until your outside air temperatures don't get above 85 degrees on any given day. In the summer, this is hard in certain areas of the country, and if you're just never going to see that, then just don't consider the FeHEDTA products as an option until, let's call it, the bookend seasons of the year, your falls and your springs. Now, what I've done today to kill off all the weeds in my my baby buffalo grass back there is apply the Tenacity with my supercharged recipe. Again, the link to that supercharged recipe is in the description below. But I put my supercharged recipe of Tenacity into the sprayer first thing in the morning. Tenacity can go through the soil. It's soil mobile. It can also be absorbed by the leaf tissues of weeds. So I like to spray that on first thing in the morning with a lot of water. I still got seed back there. There's not a lot of it's germinated, but I want to get water on that and kill off those weeds. So some of the Tenacity, some of that Mesotrione goes into the leaf tissue, some of it goes into the soil, and over the course of the rest of the morning throughout into the early afternoon, that product goes into the plant, but it doesn't start destroying the plant right away. What it does is it disrupts that whole like photosynthesis chlorophyll process that is so important for all plants out there to create energy and stay alive. It starts disrupting that process. So later in the day, after it's really in there, after that product has been absorbed into the plant, the actual leaf tissues of those plants, they look fine. They still are able to absorb whatever touches them. That's why later in the day we come back with the FeHEDTA product and go ahead and spray it on at that point. If we do it in the opposite order, the FeHEDTA is going to kind of shut down the leaf system because of iron toxicity. In my opinion, the order matters. It's probably not the biggest deal because Mesotrione is soil mobile. It can go through the soil into the root system, but I think you're going to get a faster, cleaner kill if you do it Mesotrione first, iron second. What I did here on my buffalo grass this morning was apply the Mesotrione via the Tenacity product at approximately 9 o'clock in the morning. And then 5 hours later, I came back with my FeHEDTA and I spot sprayed all of the weeds that I know for a fact that the Mesotrione isn't going to kill off. I didn't really want to do a blanket spray of everything because the liquid iron is not soil mobile. So I only mixed up a batch big enough to spot treat the actual weeds. these guys, that guy, and all of the others right here. In fact, it doesn't take very long for the liquid iron to start going to work on the weeds. This weed was only sprayed like an hour or two ago, and it already looks heavily damaged. This is why you put the iron down after you put down the Mesotrione. Because if I'm putting the Mesotrione down now, I'm going to really have to put a lot of water onto the area to get it to go into the soil to the root system. And if I'm putting a ton of water down to get the Mesotrione into the soil, then that means I could be washing off some of the iron that's still on the leaf blade that hasn't been absorbed yet. Now, by itself, Mesotrione is not really going to look like it has killed a plant for at least 14, maybe 21 full days. The iron, however, is going to look like it's killing the plant after a few hours, up to a couple days. But the iron might not polish it off. And that's why I say do both if your grass type and temperature allows. If you can do both, you are going to get a more secure kill. And all of your grass is going to be completely untouched. All right, with all of that said, I'm going to drop links to all of the products mentioned in this video down in the description below. But I understand 100% that most people aren't in a buying mood, which is why this video up here is probably more important for the vast majority of you. If you're going to ever apply Tenacity to a lawn, then this video will help. It's my Supercharge Your Tenacity application video. It's what I do every time I put Tenacity on the ground. It's what I did today. There's multiple brands out there that make FeHEDTA products, not just the one that I used in this video. Links to those are in the description as well.